That's not the opening to the Tchaikovsky Piano Concerto. Play it like it's supposed to be played.
Well, it is in the posthumous version, but the version that we will play this week here in Atlanta is Tchaikovsky's own version, and this is what Tchaikovsky wrote and then conducted and heard played back to him.
So it's not those block chords that we're so used to.
It's not the Soviet bombs. It's
How did you come across this original version? What's the story?
Growing up, I knew that there were a couple of different versions, but it was quite murky. The situation was unclear with these different versions, and the situation was unclear, in fact, until 2015, when this scholarly, researched edition of the first concerto appeared. And finally, now we have the text where they have been able to separate the editorial meddlings that became the posthumous version, the version that we're so used to hearing, and the version that Tchaikovsky himself conducted from 1879, when he put the finishing touches on his concerto, so to say, until 1893, the legendary concert when he premiered the Sixth Symphony, the Pathétique, 8 days before he passed away. In the same program, he conducted the first piano concerto, and the edition that we're using is actually to a large extent based on Tchaikovsky's own conducting score with his own markings from that last public concert. So in that sense, it is taken as the last known intentions of Tchaikovsky regarding his by now legendary first piano concerto.
So in addition to not playing block chords at the beginning, arpeggiating the beginning, there are, I'm sure, many other little felicities. Are there one or two things that we will notice in these performances?
So I think it's a bit like comparing it to a painting that has undergone a restoration in a museum, so all of a sudden you see that the colors are brighter and different than what you're used to. In the second movement, for example, this middle section is usually marked prestissimo in the posthumous edition, this. I know generations of piano students who try to get it as fast as possible, and then you come to this quote of a waltz that he was fond of, a French or Belgian waltz. So when the previous section is played prestissimo, this sounds like cartoon music. Right?
Yeah. Very Bugs Bunny.
But then you find out that actually in Tchaikovsky's score, in a much more normal way, it says allegro vivace, so perhaps the guiding tempo of the waltz.
It's still virtuoso music, yes, but it doesn't sound hectic.
And it also is not only virtuosic, but has a musical content that I think is clearer. And then there are things that might be superficially brilliant that were changed pianistically, but musically it loses. For example, the famous last octaves before the final return of the theme in the third movement. Normally you have so you have these jumps, and then you have a grand fermata. Everybody looks around, and then in fact, in Tchaikovsky, it's this. So these kinds of changes, and somebody might ask, well, how significant is that? There's not that many notes different, but psychologically it paints a different portrait of the piece, and I find in some ways a kindler, gentler, quirkier face than maybe what we're used to in this wonderful masterpiece that continues to give after so many repetitions, so many performances, but it maintains a freshness and has that richness that I think makes it the popular concerto that it is.
Kirill, thank you. And as they say, where you come from, as a token of good luck for your performance, ni pucha ni pira.
Certo.